Vladimir Putin's big statement on ending the Ukraine war. Russia ready to compromise. In a surprising and highly significant development, Russian President Vladimir Putin made a bold statement signaling Moscow's potential readiness to compromise in the ongoing conflict with Ukraine. Amid the ongoing war, which has dragged on since February 2022, Putin's comments suggest a shift in tone and approach, raising hopes for a possible diplomatic breakthrough in one of the most devastating conflicts in modern Europe. Putin's statement, a shift in language? During a recent public address, Putin emphasized that Russia was open to negotiations to end the war, but under certain conditions. He asserted that while Russia is ready to compromise, the key to peace lies in Ukraine recognizing Russia's territorial gains, particularly the annexed regions of Crimea, Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhzhia, and Kherson, all of which have been declared part of Russia following referendums widely criticized as illegitimate. Putin further clarified that Moscow would not accept any peace deal that would undermine Russia's territorial integrity or force it to make concessions regarding these territories. However, his statement did highlight that Russia is not pursuing total destruction of Ukraine, suggesting that there could be space for negotiations if Ukraine is willing to meet Moscow halfway on territorial disputes. This rhetoric stands in contrast to the more combative and uncompromising stance Russia had maintained for much of the war, especially following the annexation of Ukrainian territories. The idea of compromise, coming from the Kremlin, has already sent shockwaves through diplomatic circles, particularly in Western capitals. The context of the war. The war in Ukraine has resulted in an unimaginable humanitarian crisis, with thousands of lives lost, millions displaced, and widespread destruction in the country. The conflict began in February 2022, when Russia launched a large-scale invasion of Ukraine, citing security concerns and the desire to protect Russian-speaking populations in the Donbas region. The invasion, however, was widely condemned by Ukraine and the international community as an illegal attempt to subjugate a sovereign nation. While Ukraine has mounted a fierce defense with substantial Western support, Russia's military has been engaged in a brutal campaign, using missile strikes, aerial bombardments, and ground offensives, particularly in eastern and southern Ukraine. Despite facing heavy sanctions and international isolation, Russia's military, backed by its vast resources, has been able to sustain its operations, although at a high cost. The war has taken a devastating toll on both sides, with no clear end in sight. Putin's recent comments may signal a realization that Russia's ambitions for a quick victory have faltered and that a prolonged conflict could harm Russia's standing both domestically and internationally.